Hello and welcome to today's presentation on IPL cricket, the factors influencing a cricketer's worth. This is an important topic in today's world, especially in India, and we would like to throw some light on this. I'm Kavin, and my teammates are Kevin, Penghao, and Zayu. The agenda is to give you a brief introduction into cricket, the business issue that we are currently facing, the analysis that we have done, including Twitter and online search, and what is our recommendation and plan of action as far as the business issue is concerned. What's cricket? A lot of you may not be aware of cricket, but it's a game that's very similar to baseball, which started in the 1500s in England and spread to a lot of Commonwealth countries across the world. Currently, it's played in over 105 countries, and it was restricted popularity till very recently. But with the introduction of the IPL in 2007, the popularity of cricket has exploded, and IPL is currently valued at over $7 billion. But what is IPL? IPL is an Indian Premier League modeled after the National Basketball Association or the NBA in the US. It's a shorter format of the cricket game, played over 20 overs. We have multiple teams representing different cities in India. It has transformed cricket in India and also transformed cricketers' compensation. The salary payout in 2020 to cricketers was 88 million US dollars. Just to give you an example of the impact of IPL on transforming lives, this is Mr. Natarajan, a daily wage laborer's son from interior rural Tamil Nadu. His father earns roughly $5 a day, and currently Natarajan is worth thousands of dollars. But despite this popularity and the money generated by IPL, cricket academies and players are worried. What is your cause for concern? New Indian cricket players in India, especially in the prime of their career, have only one shot at financial success currently, IPL. But despite great performances, it's very difficult to predict salaries, and sometimes salaries are very low, and both academies and players are flummoxed. We decided to come up with a good data-backed recommendation into the factors that influence IPL salaries to help players and academies maximize their revenue potential. Thus, we come to the most important question to ask in this presentation. As a cricket academy grooming players, what measures can you take to improve a player's salary? We defined the following variables as critical in influencing the salary, and we tried to measure the impact of these variables on salary. We divided the variables into four broad buckets: performance, experience, popularity, and demographic. Performance was measured by averages, experience was measured by cumulative figures, popularity was measured by Google and Twitter trends, and demography was measured by age, nationality, and player profile. I now invite Kevin to speak about Google Trends.
Okay, so hi, I'm Kevin. So I'm here to talk about how we assess online search volume. So our idea is that we would like to collect online search volume to see how many people search for them online every day. So our idea is using either third-party tools or using the Python tools. So our first try is using the PY Trends, which will actually serve as an unofficial API to Google Trends. However, we eventually realized it could be not that practical because there would be kind of restriction on PY Trends because Google would like to block any possible DDoS attack. As a result, we use the keyword everywhere as our alternative plan. From keyword everywhere, we set search engines to be both Google, Yahoo, and also Bing, the three major search engines in India. In other words, we will basically cover all the possible searches in India. And we also set two different data sets. For the first one, we set the search results from all over the world. That is, we can collect all the global search volume. And another one, we just focus on India. And next, we'll hand it over to Zeyu.
Hi everyone, this is Zayu. Other than use the keywords everywhere, we decided to use the Twitter search results as another variable for a popularity count. So first, we want to analyze the popularity of players based on Twitter search, and then we want to use the technique we learned from the courses, which is relative to the FYIN 101 text file, and this is going to give a sentimental analysis. And finally, we're going to use the result for our regression. Here's a basic code that I have done for our data gathering. There are several tools in online that could be used for scrapping in Twitter, but since the July and August, Twitter have made a huge change for their scrapping tools. They block basically everything. So I found this one from the GitHub. This one has a feature of filtering the dates of the searching range, and you can just filter out links and the replies. This search tool basically can give you back all the historical Twitter stored in Twitter database. During the data gathering process, I have downloaded around 5 million Twitters related to our samples. And then I conduct a sentimental analysis by using the TXT file that teacher has told us before. And from here, you can see that I started this process from 0 to 1 million, and I separated it to 5 different files, which would work simultaneously, since Python doesn't allow a multi-core work, and this is kind of trick I have done. And this is what the output of the data look like. You can see there's ID and date and tweets and name related to each player. And this is what the final data for regression. First, here's a Twitter count. It's this one counts each player's Twitters that could be found during the Twitter server. And then there's a sentimental analysis, which gives the average of each player's Twitter text analysis. So for the right part is the average sentimental analysis. From here, it's not the range between 0 and 1. It could be negative or it could be positive more than 1. The higher the value, the more positive association, and then it's the regression part.
Hi, this is Paul. I will introduce our regression and analytics. Firstly, we use a linear regression model to do our analysis. So our coefficients will tell us about the relationship between the player's salary and the player's features. Since our sample size is small and most athletes are Indian, we create a dummy variable called Indian to replace nationality. According to our research of normality, we did a log transformation to all variables. You can find the histogram for each variable in our appendix. So here's some brief information about our variables and what they mean to athletes. As we just mentioned, there will be a log-log regression. So all relationship will be interpreted as percentage. And this is our t-test on salary and experience for Indian and non-Indian players. Both t-tests have very big p-value. Therefore, we conclude that the mean value of salary and runs for Indian and non-Indian players are not significantly different. And here's our regression result table. The model 1 only incorporates some general features without any popularity proxies, but model 2 and model 3 will include Twitter counts and the Google search volume, respectively. First, let me choose model 3 to interpret our result. Demographic profile is not statistically significant, but experience, performance, and popularity are highly significant. For example, 1 point increase in runs record would make a player's salary increase by 0.4%, or 1% increase in wicket records would make a player's salaries increase by 0.2%. In addition, for performance of a player, 1% increase in average batting would lower the salary by 0.3%. Moreover, popularity did affect athletes' wage. Google and Twitter stats both provide us evidence that popularity has a positive effect on the salary. If a Google search volume on a player increased by 1%, then his salary goes up by 0.1%. Finally, for player's role, only the role of captain is statistically significant. So the salary of a captain in a team is on average 122% higher than a batsman in the team.
So here comes our summary. The first thing we learned from the model is that it is very important to get yourself involved in some very important position in the team. And in this case, we learned that if you're a captain, it will be super beneficial for your future career. And secondly, game skills are still very fundamental. I would say for this academy, they should still recommend your students to practice very hard. But some skills are even more important than others. In this case, we learned that run is super important, and it will help you to get more exposures online and also get more money. So as a result, even though you are probably in other position in the team, even though you're a bowler, you probably still want to practice your batting skills. And thirdly, online presence and profiles could be a huge add. Well, even though they're not as fundamental as practicing your gaming skill, if you have some kind of chance or resources to expand your online presence, it will be still very helpful for you to get a better salary in the future. And then here's our plans of action for the academy. First of all, we will say they should try to enrich students' profile as much as possible in games. So we will recommend them to bring students to more games and let them to get a chance to work as a captain or some other important roles in each of the games. And then secondly, we'll say they should still train their students rigorously, because after all, if you get a very good gaming skill, there's a higher chance for them to get success career in the future. And thirdly, I think we believe it will be very beneficial if they can teach some of the social media ideas, concepts during the school, or provide this kind of services to their alumni. We believe it could turn out to be a very huge add for them to help their students to achieve a better career in the future. Thank you for listening. And here next, we would like to show our appendix.